Hey y'all, it's Ari and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to do a video about in processing, like getting to your first duty station and what's that like. Somebody in my 42 Alpha AIT video asked me like, how does that like process work or whatever. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. It's going to be a quick video because there's not a whole lot to talk about. For those of you that don't know, I am stationed at Fort Benning. So I got here a couple months ago. And so you get your duty station in AIT, right? In AIT, maybe like halfway through. For me, I got a couple weeks in, about halfway through. You don't have a choice. They don't let you don't pick like your top 4. I mean, you do, but that has no effect on where you actually end up getting sent. They just kind of put everybody in your platoon together and they tell you guys where you're going, and that is it. So on the day of your graduation, you ship. Pretty much everybody will ship out or catch your plane flights. Maybe like the week before you graduate, they'll take everybody to transportation and you'll buy your flights and all that stuff. If you're not going home, for leave or whatever, then the Army pays for your flight to get to wherever you're going. So you get your flight, and then like the day of graduation, sometimes the day after, depending on where you're going. Like if you're flying like Germany or something, sometimes you might fly out the next day. So you fly out, and then you get to your duty station, unless you're going POV, as in like your family's picking you up. And then that's a whole different process or whatever, right? So fast forward, you get to your first duty station. Now, before you leave AIT, you are supposed to have a sponsor. Now, this is, once again, my personal experience. I don't know if they do the same thing with every other MLS, but I'm pretty sure the Army's moving towards everyone, especially junior enlisted soldiers. You have to have a sponsor in order to leave AIT, right? So before you leave, you should have some sort of contact with the person that's sponsoring you, and that person is generally someone from your unit, the unit that you're going to. They try to pick someone that's similar in rank, similar in MOS, similar in gender, similar in, like if you're married, they try to pick someone else that's married or whatever. So I got here. My sponsor picked me up from the airport. That might not always be the case. You might have to get a taxi or whatever, but my sponsor was nice enough to come get me from the airport. Depending on your rank and like that stuff, like if you have a family or whatever, they'll give you your barracks room. Obviously, I don't have a barracks room. I don't know if I went over that before, but I have this house or whatever, right? So, that same day too, you have to sign in. So like you have your leave form that you fill out or whatever, and you need to sign in, which might look different depending on where you go. Your staff duty might do it, or your whatever building, whatever that has a staff duty desk will sign you in, right? And that will be your day 0 of in processing. So pretty much you don't do anything but check in with your sponsor and sign in. Somebody sign your leave form. Then day 1, you will check into whatever installation you're at. Will have like an in processing like building or whatever, and they will give you like a schedule of all the places that you need to go and the dates and times that you need to be at those places. Basically, it's like you have to go to finance and in process. Let them know that you're there. If you need like BAH or whatever, you need to take your travel. Usually, like the Army will pay you a certain amount of money for traveling. So that travel from AIT to your duty station, you get paid for that, like per diem or whatever, depending on how long it takes you to get there. So like you need to in process medical. You have to bring your medical records. You have to in process dental, behavioral health, like all kind of stuff. All these different appointments that they will give you on your little schedule or whatever, and you have to go to all of them by a certain time, and then you have in-process installation. Once you finish in-processing installation, which usually takes like a week to 2 weeks, For me, I don't know if it's different for different places. I'm sure it is. Then you will in-process your unit, which can be done in like a day. I did mine in like a day. I don't know. Different units probably do it differently, but that's like where you visit your S1, your S2, your S3, your S4, your S6. You know, your supply will hand you your unit patches and like your crests for your ACUs, your PT belt, or anything that your unit needs you to have. They'll give you that. Your S1 will like ask for all these different documents or whatever. Your S2 will like check you in or whatever, like as far as like your security clearance, see if like your stuff's squared away, blah, 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 blah. But basically you'll in-process all the shops. They'll usually will have you like meet with, you might not meet with your commander or your first sergeant. Different units do it differently. I was able to meet my commander and first sergeant, but I have a really small unit, so it's kind of like inevitable. So yeah, and that's pretty much how that goes. It's pretty simple. If like if you have a family or whatever, it might be a little bit more difficult, because then you have to like find somewhere to live or live on post or whatever. You still have to like find housing or whatever and get that stuff squared away. But it's pretty simple. Yeah, that's kind of like all I have for in-processing. Just a bunch of appointments. I mean, if you have any other questions, you can ask. If you want me to make another video about something else, you can ask. I don't really have anything else for in-processing, so yeah. Okay, so there's one last thing I forgot to add. When you meet your unit for the first time, be on your P's and Q's, because your first impression is very, very important. It's kind of funny because actually the only time I ever really got in trouble was when I met, like on my very first day meeting my unit, like they're watching you. Just know that. So like, make sure that you're, you know, depending on your rank, you're going to parade rest or the position of attention or whatever. You know, make sure that you're remembering your Army customs and courtesies, or I don't actually know what the term is, but make sure that you're on top of that stuff. And yeah, just yeah, because that's the first time I had actually, I wouldn't say got in trouble, like somebody needed my CAT card to like put me into a system, and I never got it back from them, and that person turned my CAT card into my NCO, and let's just say he was not happy with me. But yeah, so like I said, first impression, very, very important when you meet people. Just make sure, you know, being very respectful, doing what you gotta do, and